So this review is based on the small trading account, which has less than $25,000. So because of the account being less than $25,000, this account falls under the pattern day trader rule, commonly known under PDT, which prohibits day trading of the same stock more than twice. If you break that rule for a third trade, your account will be restricted for 90 days. So looking here, this account was funded back on June 9th with $2,000. And since that, there's been no additional funds received. As this is as of the last adjustment here, showing for October 5th of a penny. And I don't know what that is. I think it's some sort of dividend or interest or something. Anyway, because of this account being less than $25,000, as a consequence, this account does not receive real-time data. As noted up here in the top right, top left corner, it says partially delayed data. And if I click on that, it says all stock and equity options data is delayed 20 minutes. However, futures and future options data is received real time. Now, this account does not qualify for futures trading. So the only reason I have to use the futures options is to track the S&P 500 futures. That's the only thing I'll use the chart for. And speaking to the PDT rule, I kind of got caught. Well, I did get caught with a warning yesterday. So if I switch on the messages, here's the message I received regarding, because I bought and sold the SPY ETF. I traded it multiple times yesterday, twice actually. So I kind of got caught here. So yeah, so that's it. Until this account grows to over $25,000, this partially delayed data will not drop off until then. So that's it. Today is Monday, January 1st, and the stock market is closed for today in observance for New Year's Day. The stock market will be opening tomorrow, regular hour. However, heading into the overnight session, I believe the futures market will start trading later today at 6 p.m. Eastern. But this is a trade review of a position I took Friday involving Apple, ticker symbol AAPL. And as of last Friday's close, the stock ended the year at $192.53. So this is the chart layout at the daily time frame. So a couple of things. These red vertical dash lines represents expiration Friday for monthly option contracts. Also, the blue lines, the blue horizontal lines, are, from my perspective, reasonable support and resistance levels. So as price was running up back in early November, there were multiple touch points where price was unable to break above $191. So we have multiple rejections. And then when price broke above that, price then had a difficult time breaking above 195. And so much so that when price finally broke above it, hitting a high of $199, price started rolling over and is now back in between these two support resistance levels. And doing a look back, just looking left, dating back to June and July of last year, as price was trending up, similar pattern developed where price just had a difficult time breaking above and staying above both of these two support and resistance levels. And here, when price finally fell below $191, it continued dropping, ultimately hitting a low of $171 by the end of, or by the middle of August. So is that something that could possibly play out in January of 2024? It's possible. The market has been bullish for the past 9 weeks. I'm anticipating it's got to cool down sometime. What better time in, start off the year? But in any case, this line right here, this is just a visual markup. as to where I took a short position, meaning I'm bearish on Apple. So what I did was I didn't short the common shares. I actually went short via option contracts. Specifically, I selected option contracts that will be expiring at the close of this Friday's trading session. And relative to the spot price of Apple at $193, I selected the $190 strike price. And as a option buyer and bearish on Apple, I'm on the put side. So essentially what this contract is saying is that on or before the close of this Friday's trading session, January 5th, I'm anticipating that Apple will be at or below $190. And again, as mentioned, when I entered this trade, Apple was quoted at $193.62. So now, even though what happened in early June and July is a factor, because the similar pattern, again, from my perspective, is playing out. So what I also did was using this candlestick here from November 16th, because this was the first candlestick to get rejected, right? So we have a continuous trend of price running up, and then all of a sudden it just hits a wall where price, even though price pierces above 191, there was no further continuation. So I'm using this candlestick as anchor point 1. This candlestick right here, this red candlestick from December 4th, this is my second anchor point, because this is the last candlestick before price eventually broke above and stayed above $191. And my third anchor point is this candlestick right here from December 20th, because this is the first candlestick to fall back below $195. And then there was continuation to the downside to the point that price retested $191 with this candlestick. So again, using 3 anchor points, I've identified. So I overlaid this indicator or tool. It's called a Fibonacci time extension. So anchor point 1 is this candlestick, the November 16th. Anchor point 2 is December 4th. Anchor point 3 is the first red candlestick to fall back below 195. Now, what's highlighted here is January 2nd. So I'm interpreting that as the point where price will further decline, possibly leading to the break below 191, and hoping we hit that $190 strike price by the close of this Friday. So I was using last Friday as the last trading day before price crosses over this orange vertical line as a potential move for that major drop in Apple over the next, was it 4 days? Yeah, this trading week is actually shorter because of today's off market. So with all that said, switching over to the trade tab. So Friday afternoon or Friday morning, I believe, I picked up 3 option contracts. All 3 contracts will expire worthless in 4 days. And my average entry price is quoted at $51.33. Here, the premium is quoted at 51 cents. Now, each option contract is equal to holding 100 shares of the underlying security, and that's what this 100 is pertaining to. So just to break out that calculator here, so the premium on my contracts is 51.33 times 100, because each option contract is equal to holding 100 shares. One option contract is actually valued at $51.33. I picked up 3 contracts, and out of capital, this trade cost me $154, not including commission. And fortunately, the premium is now up or closed at $61.50, and the P&L is reflecting a positive balance of $28.52 as of Friday's close. And if I click on the trade confirm, the first 2 contracts were valued at $52 each, and then I picked up the third contract when the premium dropped to $50. So the last column is the respective P&L for each of those lots. So that's the current status of this trade, and general thesis for my bearish outlook on Apple. Even though price could start trending to the downside, Apple may come back all the way down below 160, $170, possibly heading into the upcoming January 18th expiration Friday for monthly option contracts. So Apple, from my assessment, it could potentially be at $180 by the middle of January, if my assessment is correct and Apple does pull back along with the rest of the market. So for the purpose of time, I'll pause it here. I'll do periodic updates when something more significant does occur. So until the next status check, more to follow. Today is Tuesday, January 2nd, and this is an end-of-day review on Apple. So today was the first trading day for 2024, and Apple dropped $6.89 in today's trading session, ending the day at $185.64. So as I was anticipating, Apple was going to drop below 191 when price was crossing over this January 2nd indication right here, this orange line. And this is the candlestick for today. So pulling up the news real quick on Apple. Let me just pull this back here. So the contributing factor for this pullback is Apple was downgraded today. So here, Apple shares drop after Barclays downgrade, and right here. So this is the article. So Barclays Bank downgraded Apple to as low as $160. And because of this, as well as the manufacturing issues overseas and all this other stuff, was a contributing factor as well. So now that Apple is below the 191 support level, switching over to the trade tab, the position is up a little over $1,200 since I entered this position Friday. The contracts are now quoted at $452 per option contract, where I entered at $51. And importantly, the contracts are now designated ITM, or in the money. And just clicking on the trade confirm, I picked up these contracts last Friday, as you can see here. Actually, I picked them up Friday morning, the last day of trading for 2023. And so this was a short swing trade. There's only 3 days remaining in the life of these contracts. So I'll continue monitoring this. I'd like to close it. I'd like to close this out at maybe $525 per contract, or $5.25 per premium. But again, if there's a continuation to the downside heading into Wednesday morning's trading session, then that could speed things up a little bit more. As a matter of fact, Apple could probably break below 180 by the end of this week, or even before that. So as the week progresses, I'll do periodic updates. So until the next update, I'll be back. Today's Friday, January 5th, and the stock market will be opening in about 3 hours from now. So the status of the Apple trade has Apple at $181.91. And there was continuation to the downside since price fell, as I was anticipating it would. Now that today is expiration Friday, these contracts will be expiring worthless at the end of the day. So switching over to the trade tab, you can see that the P&L is reflecting a positive balance of $2,221 as of yesterday's close. The premium on the contracts are now valued at $792.50 per contract, where I bought them at $51.33 per option contract. And as shown, these contracts are designated ITM, or in the money. Now, because this is a partially delayed data, I'm going to go ahead and submit an order to close this position out right now and have the order hopefully get filled. And considering that the stock market is, or the S&P 500 is pulling back right now during the overnight session, it's pulled back pretty much. So that might carry over into into Apple for a further decline at the open. Even though it's quoted at $7.92 or $7.92, I'm going to go ahead and put an order here to close it out at $10. I'm pretty sure this price point will be met considering the volatility in the market. So I'm just going to put this in here because, again, this is all delayed data, and I'm also tracking other trades. So I can't babysit too many of these open positions. So I'm going to go ahead and put this position in now. So at the premium price of $10, that would put Apple at $180.59. I'm pretty confident that this price point could get met if there's a gap down in the stock market today. Maybe if we do 1050, I mean, 1050, that would put the price point at, or put Apple at 177. I don't know if it's going to get that low. It could, but I'm going to go ahead and put it at $10. And that's a take profit of $3,000 right here. Max profit, $3,000. Minus the fees, the commission fees, and total credit, it's a shy under $3,000. So again, I picked up these contracts, or the trade was about $150. So from $150 to $3,000, that's great. So I'm going to submit the order. So right here, it's an open order right now. So I'll check on this at the end of day, or I'll continue tracking it periodically throughout the day. And if the trade does go against me, then I'll jump back in and reduce the closing price. But I'm pretty confident that the $10 could get triggered, considering that the S&P 500 has been pulling back during the overnight session. So for the purpose of the time, I'll end it here. I'll do a status check later today if or when the price point will get closed out. So until that update, I'll be back. So the stock market's been open for about 8 minutes, and unfortunately, Apple is not dropping as strong as I was anticipating. Actually, the premium is losing value. So I just canceled the initial order. So I'm going to go ahead and place an order to close this out at 7. Let's see if we can sell it at 755. That's a profit potential of $2,300 right here, max profit. So the order is sitting there. Now again, because this is partially delayed data, I'm not sure exactly when this will get filled. So it's losing value very quickly as Apple is now up 75 cents and it's quoted at $182.74. And the S&P 500 is rallying. Otherwise, I'm going to have to see if I could close this out. Let's see if we can close this out. 725 because the premium is dropping. There, close it at 747. So $747. So $7.47 times 100 per share. 747 per contract times 3 contracts. Gross profit 2,241 on the Apple trade. So what I'll do is I'll provide a breakdown at the end of this recording. And yeah, so 2,241 minus $150 for the, I think it was $153 for the initial cost. So approximate net gain is $2,088. So again, I'll have the breakdown at the end of this recording. So until the next setup, I'll see you. So just to quickly recap, so this is the Apple chart, and we can see here that when the stock market opened, price ran up to its current price of $182. Again, this is still partially delayed data. This data is delayed 20 minutes. However, keeping an eye on actual Apple price, it's currently quoted at $181.95. So there's about a 80-cent difference at this point. So switching over to the trade tab, the position is 0. I don't have any contracts open. 0 days remaining. There's nothing here. So from what was shown earlier to by the time I was able to close it, the option contract had lost this much value just from today's trading session. And real quickly, I pulled up the chart on the option chain. So this is the 1 hour chart of my option contracts, the $190 strike price, the put contracts. So right here under the ticker symbol. So this is the January 5th expiration date with the $190 strike price. It's currently quoted at $7.45. So again, I bought those contracts. Actually, let me just show trades. So right here, this is where I picked up those 3 contracts right here at $51 per option contract, or 51 cents, back on December 29th. And then I sold those 3 contracts at $7.47. Had I sold those shares or contracts yesterday at $9.10, see, that was the high. And because of Apple gaining value over the past few hours, the option premiums started dropping. So I'll also provide the details, and looking at the initial breakdown, the gross P&L is reflecting a balance of 2,241 minus commission fees and the cost of getting into the trade. Net gain or net profit was $2,083. So I'll provide those breakdowns at the end. So again, as until the next setup, I'll see you.